These two GCs have 14 days to prepare for a special show match against SSLs, in which they will have just one advantage. The game will be played with a cube ball, and the Supersonic Legends don't know that. Today in this video, we will follow along as the Grand Champion players Matmar and Mal spend the next 2 weeks learning the ways of the cube. It's a story full of unusual perseverance, unexpected revelations, and unpredictable bounces. This is the Rocket League Cube series. I asked Mal and Matmar to track their progress by way of daily journal entries and saving clips and replays, thus giving us a day-by-day historical record of this experiment from start to finish. And looking back at the write-ups, it's obvious that day one was a pretty sobering introduction to what they had got themselves into. Mal says,
I play a lot of Snow Day, so I'm used to a more unpredictable bouncing ball, and I knew adapting in time wouldn't be an issue, and I was right in figuring out some of the physics were going to be similar. What I wasn't prepared for was how unpredictable the bounces from the cube would actually be.
Matmar, however, was a lot less optimistic, writing,
At first I was kind of regretful because now I've forced myself into a cube for 2 weeks. Sure, I wanted to be in a video, but the way that the cube handled was kind of off-putting and frustrating, and I kept wanting to go back to play with a regular ball.
Matmar's initial feelings are understandable. When everything you know about bounces and ball touches suddenly becomes completely redundant, it has to be pretty painful. But fortunately, my GCs pushed through, and as the days went by, Matmar and Mal started to find there was a lot more to cube ball than they had originally thought. First of all, dribbling with a cube might actually be easier than dribbling a ball, as the flat surfaces seem to help it stick to your car. And while a lot of the time hitting the cube felt more like trying to move a bouncing brick, there was also specific touches that would end up giving a powerful shot. Mal was right. It was a bit like the puck in that way. They just needed to figure out the special requirements and secrets of this shape. By day 6, the hours of experience Matmar had gained was starting to change his attitude.
After playing for a bit, I started to feel a little bit better. As the days have gone by, I actually find myself more excited to play cube, especially seeing all the clips I can do now.
And at the end of the first week, Mal wrote,
I'm starting to perform better than the people I'm training with, so I know that I'm improving, but consistency both in overall performance and reading the cube is lacking, and I sometimes still lose to those players.
Yes, shout out to all my Discord members that stepped up to support Matt and Mal in their training, regularly participating in scrims to give them realistic game situations and real opponents by which to judge their progress. The wins helped prove that they were actually getting better at this. But the subsequent losses also reinforced the fact that cube ball was still a very unpredictable sport.
So there's something I failed to mention earlier. Cube has a very strong effect on your car. It bumps it and often cancels your momentum. Well-performed Rocket League feels like a dance, and you can't dance with someone who keeps pushing you around.
While Matmar's poetic-like complaints make it seem like mastering the cube ball is an almost impossible task, of the two, he was the one that became most mechanical during the training period. By grinding free play, or in this case unlimited time private matches, Matmar put in the work needed to make progress in both maintaining cube control and figuring out the right way to hit shots. Though his desire to pull off that elusive cube flip reset goal remained unfulfilled. Meanwhile, Mal's journey was a little different, as he chose to spend a majority of his time scrimming, 1v1ing, and even 1v2ing other members of my Discord, who themselves are also picking up some cube skills along the way. With the SSL showdown now less than 7 days away, I wanted to help my cube team prepare themselves for the upcoming competitive pressures of facing the highest rank in the game. So I arranged a 2v2 cube ball tournament that featured a mix of champ and GC players, many of which had cube experience from helping with the training during the past week. While it wasn't the main event, there was some expectations for Mal and Matmar in this tournament, and some questions that needed to be answered. Were they actually the best cube players in the Discord, and would their newfound skills be obvious and useful in a competitive environment? Or would the unpredictability and randomness of the cube ball nullify all their training? In the first game, the team that was now calling themselves the fear-inspiring name Cutie Cubers fired off 12 shots and put up 4 goals in a decisive win against the Cheese team. The next opponents fared no better, falling 5-1 to the Cubers. To the relief of Matmar, Mal, and myself, it seemed like this experiment was actually working. As we go to the final game, 30 seconds in, the opponents actually strike first, scoring just the second goal the Cutie Cubers have conceded in this tourney. But Mal and Matt would not give up another, scoring 6 unanswered to win the tourney and prove that they were the best cube players in the Discord, and dare I say, at that exact moment, in the world.
I know I've improved further than in week 1, now being able to aerial the cube much more consistently, and overall I feel more confident in my cube hitting skills, but I still feel like I haven't really worked much on defense, causing that to be a very weak point of my play.
I do actually find myself enjoying playing free play now, chasing around the cube, trying mechanics with it, so you can see the progression in my emotions from irritation and frustration to actually getting excited about cube ball.
During the 2 weeks of his free play focused training, Matmar had the unique opportunity to really explore the physics of cube ball. And as probably the only current cube ball main besides Mal, I told him no one could really dispute his right to name the mechanics he was discovering. So we decided to have some fun with it, and here's a few examples of his findings. When the cube falls on the edge of your hitbox, it can get launched pretty far, similar to a self-pinch in Snow Day. Seen here is a couple examples of its use. The first being dubbed the back bash. And the second is the deceptive nook hook. Next we have the Doomsy Dish-like play Matmar calls the cubicle dip. And then there's my favorite, the parallelopop. And finally, backflips were found to generate a lot of power on the cube. And since Matmar was far too humble to add his name to any of these mechanics, I'm going to step in here and suggest this shall be forever known as the Mat Flick. Yeah, Musty, you don't get this one. On the other side, Mal refrained from trying to name any mechanics, most likely in an effort to avoid the viewer backlash that I know some of you are typing right now in the comments as I speak. Well, after 2 weeks of preparation and training, it all comes down to this. We have now reached the final part of the experiment. Joining me in voice chat is Star and Polar, two SSLs I can assure you have not been training cube ball for the last 14 days. But will their superior Rocket League skills and experience be enough to overcome the cube mains training and the unpredictable and frustrating cube ball? Let's find out. Alright, so these two GCs, Matt, Mar, and Mal, have been training with a cube for the last 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
They are the cube gods of Rocket League, or they think they are.
Okay.
And it's up to you to prove otherwise.
Little do they know I've been training in secret.
I've come up with a strat. Oh,
Okay, what is the strat?
just hit it with your wheels, bro. You get like two. It's like similar mechanics to like Snow Day with touches. Oh
Yeah,
my
the
God.
self pinch. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have seen that. That is a thing. So you're gonna pull out one of these pinches that you
Well, not if my teammate's bumping me.
It's not my fault you're in the way, okay?
Actually, fraudulent.
Big boom,
tag
big
as well,
boom, big boom. No,
Oh,
oh,
that is
miss.
that was a big boom.
bro. Bro, bump it. You wanna know, Mr. Ones, mate?
Oh, you.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Okay. My teammate's throwing, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Blame your teammates. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Bang! Oh,
Dude, it just doesn't go anywhere.
I feel like it went pretty far when they shot it. What's your
They
problem?
did. I think I'm just kind of bad, not gonna lie. Oh, yeah. Redirect.
oh, look at me. No. Why? What is your overwhelming issue? What issues do you have apart from nearly
Dude,
being an
I'm
American
telling you,
citizen?
I know this the physics, and it would have bounced over 100%. All right.
That is true. It's just because it's on net in cube ball doesn't mean it's on net.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, for the last 2 weeks they've been training.
Oh, you lad.
They've free
That
play. We've run some tournaments,
Okay.
preparing for this moment.
Well, it's all gonna go to waste.
Have they got like proper strats?
I don't know if they have strats. They just have experience.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good timing on that.
Brilliant experience.
Yeah, most of their experience has been letting me down, actually.
I can see. Bro thinks he's playing Snow Day with the pinch.
Yeah, it didn't quite go the way they were.
What?
hoping. Oh.
What cheat?
I went.
going?
Listen,
Let's go.
I went for the fast twos cheat. All right.
It's a cube.
Yeah. It's still worth the try, though. You know what I mean?
Well, please don't again.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Ah, okay. I understand. Just here, like, it's basically the same as hitting the ball like normally. You need to get like wheel corner, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's definitely certain parts you can touch with the cube and get better hits than others. That's for sure.
What? Oh, dude,
God's sake,
they have got
Polar.
it down. Dude, what do you mean? Me?
Look at this clear, bro. I've seen bronzes do better
Oh
than
my
this.
goodness, this cube ball is gonna ruin a friendship.
You ain't got one in the first place, bro.
This guy was never my friend to begin with.
I'm just his carry, bro.
Dude, I can't read these answers for the life of me.
That's a nice try for the dribble.
Is
Okay, they're struggling here.
Yeah, but so's my teammate with open nets. Oh my!
that was literally the furthest thing from open, mate.
Well, yeah, when it's you shooting, of course it is.
No, it literally
it's
was the
open.
furthest thing from open.
What is this?
This was way harder than I thought it was. I don't think I've used a cube since I was like since I was like champ, and that was like 4 years ago, 5, maybe or even more than that. I'm warmed up now, alright? I didn't get to play before this.
I think you guys need a second try at this.
They're so bad, man. We're gonna smack them. They're so bad. There's a reason they're champ.
While the GCs have completed the goal of this challenge by successfully defeating the SSLs in Cube Ball, we decided to make it a best of 3 to see if Star and Polar can learn and adapt as the games go on. And they ended up striking first in Game 2, finally getting a goal that wasn't put in by the other team. They soon followed up with another less than a minute later. Then the Cube team responded, with Matmar capitalizing on a failed flick by Star. But the SSL team was not going to go down that easily. It's incredible that Star and Polar don't even have 10 minutes of Cube experience, and they're already improving. Their hits are harder, their touch is more accurate, and they have even started trying to flip reset off the Cube, because why wouldn't you try, I guess? With 60 seconds left, Mal blocks 2 consecutive clear attempts and sets up Matt to make it 3-2. But it won't be enough. The SSLs take Game 2, and what's worse for our Cube Cuties is that Star and Polar seem to be getting better by the minute. It's always impressive how players at this level can just seem to adapt and still be the best in the game no matter what us content creators throw at them. Mal and Matmar have been training for weeks, and yet here we are in Game 3 with an unpredictable Cube Ball, and the SSLs are right there with them. But I do have to say I am proud of how my players performed in this experiment. Matmar and Mal have put in a lot of work over the last few weeks. They took down the SSLs in Game 1, they kept Game 2 close, and even here in Game 3, up until now, they've had a pretty good showing. But GCs can only hold off SSLs for so long. And as we watch Star and Polar add to their lead, let's hear some final thoughts from the former #1 Cube mains in the world, Mal and Matmar.
Looking back at the last 2 weeks, this was kinda like learning Rocket League again. Even though I was getting frustrated, I was not tilting about it. It was a good kind of frustration that made me more motivated. Overall, it was a cool experience to be a part of video like this. And strangely, even though it's been a week since the SSL game, I actually still find myself wanting to play Cube instead of regular ball. I've grown attached to it.
The series against the SSLs went about exactly as expected. Game 1 gave us the advantage due to them not knowing the Cube, but their overall higher skill reduced that advantage more than I expected it to. Am I likely to play Cube Ball again? Probably not as much as I did in the past 2 weeks, but playing Cube Ball was actually an enjoyable experience overall and a nice break from grinding ranked. Except for Game 3 against the SSLs, which felt very similar to a lot of my ranked games.
While despite the obvious disadvantages from the start, the SSL team prevails and wins this best of 3 Rocket League Cube series 2 games to 1. As always, big thanks to Polar and Star for participating, and if you guys want to watch these two struggle with a different type of challenge, be sure to check out my recent backwards controls video I did with them, that's linked here. Shout out to Moyim who suggested and inspired this video, congrats to my Grand Cubers, Matmar and Mal, and once again thanks to all my Discord VIPs that helped with the training. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that sub button so you don't miss a single upload.